Okay, so I was thinking I had this guy posted already, but that was not the case. So I will get it. Now, let me explain who I am, who we are. Jeremy, I guess you don't need an explanation of who I am, but the company is Jeeps Unlimited Partsbreakers.com. We've been around since 1984, and we have 7 acres, about 157 Jeeps in the yard. We can probably fit about double that in this yard, but we're doing a big yard overhaul. So in this video, you're going to see a 76 to 83 CJ5 frame, and it's not complete pre-dismantle. When I call pre-dismantle, usually pre-dismantle would be a tub still sitting on it. So we have pretty good access. It's just something we like to reassure people that there are, in the case of there being a tub on it, there's obviously a lot of things we can't see. The tub being off of this one, we can see it pretty clearly. But if there was, and in this case, I don't think there are, if there were brackets on it somewhere that could potentially be hiding something, then, you know, that's why. So this is like a 90% or a 10% maybe, depending on how you look at it, pre-dismantle, with 90% being visible. So I don't think there's going to be anything that we're not going to be able to see on it. But with that said, once we get it fully stripped down, of course, if there's something that you don't want taken off of it, just know that it is a lot cheaper to freight these, or, well, we don't freight, we hot shot, or I run these fully dismantled. Even if you're saying, hey, I want these axles, or I want a different set of axles, we would say, okay, well, let's get it stripped down. I know it seems easier, but it costs a lot more because we can't ship them the way we like to, which is almost like if you see the frame stacks over there. So they go really well like that. So, okay, so that's that. So a little bit of history on CJ5s. We have tons of videos on our YouTube channel that show this, but CJ5s are all narrow track. There's no, unless somebody's modified it, they never came as a wide track. So the frames are going to be identical from 1976 to 1983 with one caveat to that. In 1976, you will find it is the only year, and it is identical in every way, shape, or form except for this one thing, but you will find a frame that looks just like this one. This is an old 72, 75, not at all the right frame, but I want to show you. You see how it's boxed in up here? Meaning that it's fully, the frame is fully, which is what they did more, once they went to the fully boxed in style frames. These were old C-channels they basically put together, whereas these were like more reformed, you know, frame, the way, and I'm not going to get into all that because that's not my point. My point is that at that point you see it's just C-channel, it's just open. Okay, now if you look at this frame, it's fully boxed in, still 2 C-channels essentially welded together, but it's a fully boxed in frame. They did it for strength and probably just overall, you know, lasting ability of them. Although this isn't a bad design because it kind of helps clean out stuff in them, it's definitely added strength here. But this also makes it so it traps stuff and they can rust. So in 76, you will see that style of frame. It still looks just like this one. This one is totally different. Again, remember that. But about in this area here, the rest of the frame is open. Okay, so they'll fit on the same. Some people will call, and if they're doing like a numbers matching 76 build, they'll say, I want that 76 original. They're hard to find. So if it's not something numbers matching you care about, then I would say just don't ask for it, because they're not only are more expensive, but they're very difficult to find that year. So, okay. And again, the 77, 78, all these frames, these later frames, will bolt right on. So one thing we always do with every frame we get is, and Kevin's over there doing it right now with the frame, is they get washed with the Hotsie. We get about 4,500 PSI, about 180, 200 degrees, give or take. So inside and out. And then we measure everything. CJ frames, we don't have to worry about this as much on, but TJ frames are very common to have this, where they've been hit at one time or another. But we do it on every frame. So we measure them, and then we scope everything. Just because it looks great on the outside doesn't necessarily it's going to be on the inside. But one thing I want to point out is all this black paint you see all over this frame throughout, which I would say, again, is probably in the 90 percentile. That's all original factory paint. In no way do we clean these things up other than cleaning them up with water. We don't paint them. We want you to see this frame in its natural state, of whatever current state it was in, just to really show how clean these are. Because typically when the paint's gone is when they start oxidizing, which is kind of what you're seeing up here. This is just browning of the metal. This isn't surface rust. That's a totally different thing. When you get surface rust, you're getting flaking, those layers that start coming off. Eventually you get rot, cancer, where it starts holing through. So even areas like here, the hot seat should clean up nice. It'll either pull the paint off altogether or it'll go back to black there. I like to see, really, even though it's not necessarily a good thing in the engine world of things, but as far as the frames go and the tubs go, I don't mind seeing somebody that kind of didn't maintain their engine, valve cover gaskets, oil pans, because that stuff gets blown down the frames and the tubs underside and really protects it really well. So when I get a really grimy frame in the sense of grease, it's usually one of the cleaner frames. And now there's a lot of buildup on this one. That's why I bring that up. So, okay. The main area that CJs like to rot, and there's several of them, but the big one, just like all these frames have, the TJs have an area too, but usually it's the back area, back here. So this one's got a real small amount of surface in here. You can see the paint's coming off here. So we'll get all through there and make sure this is all nice and strong. There's, we don't, if it's got the paint here, and then, a small layer, we'll note it so you see what is there. If there's anything that blows through, that pressure washer setup will do it. It's not sandblasting, but it's damn close. So, and that's usually where they like to go. So this one's in great shape. Most of the paint's still on it. There's a little bit of bubbling on it. And again, this pre-dismantle method of doing this ensures that you are going to get the final say as everything, okay? And so the final say is this frame is going to be completely stripped down. It will look like one of those frames. Those are later frames. Again, measured, scoped, inside, outside, washed, and then another video and then a series of photos. And then we send them off to you. So once that process is started, we'll get your invoice going. We get you wrote up, get a deposit. We get it over to Kevin's dismantle area. He'll go ahead and finish stripping it down. And from there, I will take over after they wash it, and I'll do what I'm doing right now, except it will be in a final approval video format. And then we'll send it off to you. If you give us the green light, great. We add it to the stack we have going on up there, which is all our sold stuff, and get it on to our next load. Now, if it's something you're saying, hey, I need this thing next week, or maybe not next week, but here in the next week or two, it still goes up there. We want it out of the way. We don't want to back into anything. There's big equipment down here. We want it safe. So there's that hole behind that fence, about an acre up there of all our sold stuff. There's probably about 20 tubs up there right now and a handful of frames. And then at that point, we just get it with our hotshot crew. And the reason I say is because I have a trip coming up no later than the middle of June. And it could be as early as the middle of May here in just a few weeks. And really that earliness is going to be dependent on how quickly we fill up. We're about half full right now. So if we fill up sooner than later, I'll hook up the trailer and make a run. If not, it will be no later than the 15th. The end of May is very busy. I got a couple birthdays. My little boy's birthday is the beginning of June. My mom's birthday, a few other things. So we'll be pulling out right after that. Okay. So that's the spiel on this frame. And, these things will all be off, and you can see how nice and round, not all wallowed out. That's what we like to see on these guys. Let's see if I can pull that one off. Sometimes these things are, we got a little flaking on the top, but still nice and round, not all wallowed out either. Shock towers, another area. So, and again, that stuff will all be completely done. Brake stuff will be pulled off. Engine mounts we remove everything. I mean, these things are, if it's welded on, it stays. If it's bolted on, it gets pulled. So if you go, hey, I really want power steering on mine, and I noticed that's got a power steering gearbox on it, because a lot of these didn't have them, and you want if you want to buy just that and the bracket, we can do that. Again, we'll still pull it because I usually unlift these things, and every little bit of thing we leave on them makes them heavier. But again, if you said I want the rolling chassis, I would just get it with a hot shot. I wouldn't bring it out myself because I don't have the capacity to do it that way, and we could ship it like that. This one had drum brakes on it, which isn't super common. Most of these by this age had disc brakes, but every once in a while you see that. The nice thing about this, it's still a Dana 30 open knuckle. It's exactly the same tube, so it can be easily converted to disc brakes, and we have kits to do that here. And then of course, that's the Dana 30 up front. This is a AMC 20 factory. You can see it's a two-piece still. We have a couple single that have been converted, and then of course you can always upgrade them to that axle. That's the pride and joy for the guys that don't know. This is a 72-75, so you get a Dana 44, which is way stronger, way easier to rebuild, and way easier to get parts on. It's a centered axle, just like this one is. The perches will bolt right in. So really, it's a bolt-in option, and it's a flange 44, so you don't have to deal with that two-piece axle tapered and whatnot. So for anybody looking for axle replacements, those are getting extremely hard to find. This is the same thing. Now, the gear ratio between this setup or maybe your setup is probably not going to luck out to be what this one is. This is likely a 373, because that's what these usually got. So in that case, say, hey, I have a 355 up front. It's not going to match. You have a couple options. You can re-gear your front to match. You can re-gear the Dana 44 to match, or you can buy the matching front. Now the matching front, again, this is a Dana 30 open knuckle, but it's got the drum brakes, which this is the only thing they did in 72-75. So once again, we sell you the knuckles, or we can do it here. The knuckles outwards to one of our disc brake axles, and voila, you can have disc brakes as well. And if you already have disc brakes, that's even easier, because at that point we can sell you just the axle assembly minus the knuckles, or we can, in this case, we'd actually ship them with the knuckles, because the drum brake ones aren't nearly as worth as much as the disc brakes. And you simply undo your, I've been showing you the wrong thing, apologize. You simply remove your ball joints, knock off the knuckle, put yours back on, and voila, you have disc brakes, and now you have the matching set of axles. So I know this video had nothing to do with that in the beginning, but the fact that I have a 72-75 here, for anybody that may be looking for a 72-75 CJ5 frame, or the flange centered 44, or a matching set of axles, or here again the 76-83 CJ5 with, again, we have axles for this one or without. Gas tank is still in this one. The fuel lines are still in it, and the fuel lines look pretty good. The brake lines look pretty good. They pulled them here, which is nice. But if you said, hey, I want you to leave that stuff on, that is something I can leave on, and sometimes it does save you a lot. These look like they're in good shape. They're, a little bit discolored down in this area, but I don't see any pinholes. I really don't see anything rough on them. But they do have a little bit of, when they start losing that sheen that they have. But if yours are in worse shape, or you're having to do it anyway, or you kind of like not having a monkey with all this, those, to be honest, are in probably good enough shape to reuse. And we can leave that stuff on. There's obviously some rubber lines that would need to be replaced. But those, I have no problem leaving brake lines on. When we go to load them, we just have to make sure we don't snag them, because then it does us no good. So, okay, so that was a little bit more of a spiel than you would normally get on just a frame video. So the next one will be a lot shorter, but I did want to go over that in as much detail as I could. And then if you need any other parts, let us know. We do have a 72-75 tub that is, other than the outside being beat up from using it as a hunting Jeep, the floor and the bottom is beautiful. Probably one of the cleaner ones we've had as far as those things. The back, like I said, the sides aren't great. There's not a lot of options for these tubs right now. I get them. It's kind of like, those are usually the most rare, so it's awesome we have one. I probably have something out here. I think there was a black one we have up, and we may have something else, but usually the CJ5 tubs are far and few between. Windshield frames are the same way, and And that one's got a windshield frame, but it's not correct era for this one. I don't know if I have a good windshield frame for this one. I think somebody mentioned that you might be interested in a windshield frame. And I think there was one other part she asked me, and hopefully I've mentioned it in all this spiel, but if not, just give us a holler because it's likely out here somewhere. And we can go from there, okay? 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. Have a great day.